group from community campus in Middlesbrough who are either unemployed, in education, training or employed. We're just going to ask them a few questions about what they thought about being unemployed as a group, and then individually they can answer themselves. So,
being unemployed, you kind of get labelled with a certain, like, a stereotype, I think, like, you know, automatically people think you're useless and think that, you know, you're doing it on purpose, or, you know, you've got a drug problem or an alcohol problem, or, you know, you must have been a bad kid when you were younger and stuff. When really the actual reality is, like, you're completely and utterly just a normal teenager that, yes, maybe didn't go to university because they couldn't afford it or didn't get in, but you could have had a string of jobs and then not had the academics to do the career you want to do. But they don't take that into account at all. It's more about the kind of, like, you know, the stereotype and the kind of branding of, you know, everyone clubbed together, when really there's a lot, you need to kind of get to know people individually and help them that way, rather than just kind of branding everyone and then expect them all to live off £50 a week and get a cleaning job when, you know, they could potentially do a lot more.
It's like that first impression, isn't it? Also, I think another thing about being employed is, like myself, I've been employed since when was it, last December, so half a year or so. It does affect your mental side as well, because like myself, you've got so much spare time that you just end up getting more lazy with each day because you just got nothing to do to fill in each day.
No motivation, and you're lacking confidence once you've not had a job for a while. You kind of get a bit scared of going back into employment and wondering, you know...
Or even starting. Yeah,
exactly, or even starting employment. You get really kind of like, with the lethargy and the kind of like the no motivation, you kind of get more and more sluggish and therefore lose kind of confidence and lose like the kind of want to go out and look for a decent job, because
or
you
just
don't.
At all.
Yeah, exactly, you can go out at all, yeah. So
nice.
you become isolated in some situations, and it's just, I don't think there's that taken into account either. I don't think people think about, like, the repercussions of it. Of people
pleasant.
Just as people. No.
It's not pleasant.
it's not easy street.
No. It seems to me, like, personally, I think as I've got older, it's become harder. Not just for, you know, someone over 21, because, you know, at that age you're kind of expected to already be in a job. But when you're 16, not only do they have to pay you less, but they can train you up then to be exactly what they want for their company. Whereas if you're 23, A, they have to pay you more, and B, you've got no experience, so therefore they don't see it as a valuable piece of their time to train you up by that point, because they're already paying you more than they want to give away.
That's
as well.
Money, isn't it?
Exactly, but to a lot of companies it doesn't matter. I've gone to many an apprenticeship. Even when I was 19, I went to an apprenticeship and I was told I was too old because I wasn't 16 and I hadn't just left school and was able to.
So you were on the shelf at 19.
Exactly, because of the payment issue. They didn't want to pay, and I got the best marks in, you know, we did like a kind of an IT exam, and I got the best marks, but they said we can't take you because of your age, and it was really, really hard to hear, because that would knock my confidence, because that would have been a way of getting in there and building some skills.
So what's your experience of the job centre? And did they help you get employment or
no?
Not?
No.
Am I employed?
No.
I can admittedly say they do a very pants job of what they're supposed to do. I mean, you look at the job centre, you expect, when you first go apply, you kind of expect it to be, oh, it's a place where they're going to help you apply for God knows how many amount of jobs and get you straight into a job, but no, they just tell you, right, we expect you to do this amount of time doing these many amount of jobs, off you go on the internet.
Yeah, they don't even look into what you're interested in, or, you know, how to get you there. They don't look into, like, you know, what you're interested in as a person, and you know, where they could take, where your strengths lie and where they could use that. They just go, right, 20 jobs, and they don't care if it's, you know, whatever you apply for, as long as they're done by next week and all your applications are print screened and printed out and on their desk. They don't, you know what I mean? It's just another number and another mark.
As someone told me, it's been really, the view on it's been changed. It's not a place for jobs, it's a place for money. That's all it is.
So you see the job centre as a place where you go and get your money?
That's all it is, just to survive.
Yeah. And even then it's £50 a week, as if we're having to, like, do all that work just to prove that, you know, we're worthy of getting £50 a week from them. It's like, I think it's a proper insult. to be honest.
Really, as a bare minimum, just to survive and keep us off the streets, really, we should be getting doing not really anything. And I'm not trying to say that as a lazy...
No, but as a human rights thing, like...
It's harder for yourselves as well, because you've got no backing from parents.
Yeah.
You're independent, you're living independently,
Well,
so you've still got to pay the gas, electric,
Exactly.
water.
And if we go
And
for
no
that,
one is
no
the
one's
job
going to be
centre
bothered.
covered.
The job centre aren't going to turn around and go, oh, well, don't worry, we'll sort you out. They won't.
Yeah.
And that's another curse of being this... This is 16 to 25, I genuinely believe it's 16 to 20.
I'll leave
21.
it because I've seen many different age people in
Yeah, no, but
it's
not that. I mean the help. It's
yeah.
mainly for the younger market, I think. I genuinely think that. I see a lot of people with amazing qualities and skills in all sorts of different things, because they don't have a piece of paper and academics, they're having to sign on and do courses that they'll whiz through just to get that piece of paper, and they're in the 30s, they have mortgages to pay, they can't get by, they've got kids to feed. It's not, they're not looked at as an individual person, they're just another, and they have to go on courses with kids that don't even want to be there, but they're sent because the job centre is sent them there. So again, it's a mixed up idea of getting someone into employment. It's not right.
Really, we're just like another number.
Yeah.
Another one to add onto the list of people that are going in.
On their part-time job.
Yeah.
And what do you think about training programs? Do you think there's enough of them available? And do you think
There's enough of them, it's just
Do you
they
think
don't
they're
know what to
good?
put you on them.
yeah? Do you think the training programs are good? What they put you on? Or
Well, I'm starting one next
Did
week, so
you-
ask me then.
You're having to sell yourself short.
see that's how it was that could go back years ago. People started with apprenticeship at 16. So you left school on the Friday, you started work on the Monday, because there was jobs plenty.
Yeah.
There was plenty of jobs, and people got on to apprenticeships, and the apprenticeships were like 3-year, 4-year, 5-year apprenticeships.
It
Exactly.
should still be like that, I guess.
Yeah,
As a mandatory thing, putting you straight into one, so at least you have that experience.
yeah. So past jobs,
Not having
if any of you have worked, what contract hours did you do? Let them the contract hours, etc.
I think the most I've ever been contracted was either 16 hours plus or 20 hours plus. I never got full time. I got full time hours, but it was always on a 0-hour contract or an 8-hour contract, and that therefore you're disposable. They would rather have many 8-hour contracts. From a manager's point of view, I totally understand it, because you've got people to cover left, right, and centre then.
And what was that doing then, Bobby?
Retail mainly, kind of merchandising, stock counts, figures, sales in general, store accounts, cards, insurance, stuff like that. So I've done a lot of retail, but again, on 8-hour contracts, one week you could get 8 hours, the next it's too unreliable, and that's all that a lot of companies are offering now, just a 0-hour contract, because in some cases they don't have to pay you, and especially when you don't go in for the week, do you know what I mean, when they don't need you, and they're 8 hours like gets you 40 quid a week. So then you don't get that for 1 week, and then the next week you might only get £40. You can't live like that either.
And then your rent doesn't go down. Your rent's the same every week, and your gas is the same, and the electric's the same.
Exactly. Nothing gives, so therefore you've got to maybe find 2 jobs or 3 jobs, or you don't know where to turn. There's literally kind of no emergency kind of route.
Yeah.
So
What's yours, Lewis? What's your experience?
My current job's like a 0-hour contract, so it varies on what hours I do. So 1 week I could be doing the minimum I do is 20, but it's not guaranteed I'll do 20 because it's a 0 hours, and so it just changes. But before that I was on an apprenticeship that was full time. Obviously it was an apprenticeship, and living on your own on an apprenticeship was just not sustainable at all. So obviously I need a new job. I'll say I work 20 hours now, I'll earn more now on 20 hours than I would on an apprenticeship. So that's why it isn't sustainable. Like they said, they're only offering 0 hours, so they can just have you when they need you, really. So there's not a fixed income what you need when you live on your own.
So then how are you ever supposed to go, how are you ever supposed to have a mortgage, or even hope to get your own home or anything, or even a car, or what if you have a family? If it's not it's just not substantial, do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But that's our generation I'm talking about, and I care.
Yeah.
So when you've been employed, Did you find it like a positive experience? Did you feel better in yourself? Did your esteem go up? And
Although like I'm employed, like literally some weeks you feel like I'm working like for nothing, because everything will like I work all week and I have to pay everything out, and then someone who isn't working will be able to like do more with their money because they have to, even though they get less than me, like they have to spend less because they won't have to pay as much towards rent or anything, so they'll end up with more money. So sometimes you feel like literally you're working for nothing just to get by.
yeah.
Not even that sometimes.
No.
Again, that's not fair, because someone who is in employment isn't even getting like encouragement and help anywhere. So it's like, why? A lot of people, I think, I don't blame you for not working in the end, because you're not getting anywhere, even when you do. Like,
Sounds like
It's
a
hard.
it's a complete
It's hard again
catch-22.
when you're living independently,
Yeah,
and you've got to, again, keep on going back. They've got to be paid the gas, the electric, the water, the rent, your
exactly.
taxi,
None of that stops.
food, and then you've with what's left, you've got to enjoy yourself at the time when you should be going out enjoying yourself. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think it's quite easy for young people to find employment?
No,
And what makes you say that?
it's just very difficult of getting a job, like experience-wise. If you go through college for numerous years doing the same, what you know, like saying if you're doing catering
Yeah.
and you do level 1, 2 and 3,
Yeah.
and you sort of look for yourself for a catering job in the future, you can't do it.
Right.
Because they're after experience, which obviously you haven't got. You've got experience in the catering at college, but they don't class it as a work placement experience.
Yeah, not proper work experience.
It's very hard. Like, it's like for other jobs as well. You go in, just say, like if you go in for a retail job, like clothing,
Yeah.
but you've already got retail experience, they want someone with retail clothing experience.
Yeah.
So you can't apply for that job either. It's really, really difficult, and because Stockton and Middlesbrough, they don't have, well, that many shops compared to how many people that live in Stockton and Middlesbrough.
There's that many people
Yeah.
chasing every vacancy.
It's like if a vacancy comes up, it's like literally 7,000 people applying for that job.
Yeah.
So what's your chances of getting that job? There's none.
Yeah.
Apprenticeships. Some people, like, if someone left school with no qualifications and like not really good any GCSEs, it's going to be hard for them to get on a like apprenticeship, because obviously they don't got, you know, like the levels that they need to get onto apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So in that way, they can't get training to go on a job. And it's even with these, if you go to college and you sort of build your qualifications up, so you start from level 1, go level 2, level 3, and then sort of, you know, go up, you're still going to be finding it hard to find a job, like a decent job. And most of these jobs now, work placements offer apprenticeships, but 16, the most get, like, because they get funding, is for 16 and 18 year
Yeah.
olds.
Yeah. So if you're out of that bracket,
Out of that bracket,
harder.
you're stuffed really. You're
Yeah.
not going to get yourself a job, and it's very hard to get a job. Like, I was on job seekers before, and it took me about 2 years to find myself a job. And when I got the job, it wasn't what they said it was going to be. You know what I mean? Like, it was a 0-hour contract. There, you only need you when they want you,
that's right.
and because that's, you can't, like, your housing benefits affected. And everything's affected, and they don't understand, if you're living on your own, they don't understand what situation it's going to be like. Buying food, gas and electric, TV licence, you're going to be struggling. No wonder people getting themselves
That's an
debt.
excellent point, and I think that
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realise that. I think people sometimes think that the answer to all your problem is to get a job,
Yeah.
but it's to get the right job, isn't
It's
it?
to
Because
get the right
sometimes it
job.
can make your situation worse.
It's not just getting the right job either. If you're struggling, like on a 0-hour contract or a low wage, you're going to have to get a loan out to pay for your obviously bills that you're going to have, like TV licence. I'm not being funny, but what's the point of paying a TV licence? There's nothing on TV anyway. Seriously, it's them bills that you've got to pay, and if you don't pay them bills, you're going to get more, you know, like more in debt with them. So you're going to have to get a loan. If you're getting a low income, you're going to have to get a loan to pay all them bills off.
And you're getting a bigger mess.
And you're getting in a bigger mess, and you can't afford to come out. So no, most of the young people are in debt.
Yeah.
And that's why, because they can't find. They offer apprenticeship wage is £2.68. They're going to live on their own. If they're living on their own, it means that all that money is just gone on bills. So in a way,
it makes life harder, not easier,
it's make life harder, and that's why some people stay on benefits, because they can't find the right amount of wage to support themselves.
And that's terrible.
That's terrible.
It?
Like, I'm not being funny, but I'm desperate for a job. I've gone in all fields. I'd go in catering, office administration, retail. I'll do anything. I was even thinking of going on at engineers.
I mean, you were really let down, weren't you, in your last job?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
£80 for 2 11-hour shifts? I don't think so.
It's ridiculous.
It's like,
well, it was cash in hand, wasn't it?
It wasn't by the books either. I thought it was going to be on the books, but he didn't put me on the books.
No.
So obviously,
and then you won't be able to claim your housing benefit. And
wouldn't be able to claim housing benefit. I wouldn't even. It's hard. You can't go through the routes because you think it's all legal, and then you find out it's not.
Yeah.
So in a way, you're going to be stuck for yourself. It's most employers as well.
And it's all the knockbacks as well. I think it starts to affect people's confidence and motivation, doesn't it? If they're going for jobs all the time and they're not successful, that really affects how you feel about things, doesn't it?
See, what I think that they should do in a job is like have maybe five people for one job. Like, the interview them, take 5 people, train them up, and then once it comes to it, still pay them while they're training up, and once it comes to a 3-month period, that one job vacancy, I think they should fill it by one of them 5 people, you know, trying to train them up.
Right.
And then you've got that 3 month, even if you don't get the job, you've got that 3-month experience that you can put down on your CV. Well, that's how I think that they should do it anyway, but they don't. And then obviously,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.